With
Hell,
Ryan.
there's right-wing
Speaking of
extremists in the
weird-
UK who
awesome.
are to the left of Bernie Sanders.
It's Mark Reed.
Hello.
Mark!
Fresh and
How-
shiny. Are you freshly
Yeah,
shaved?
Very, very. Yes, I shaved everything today. So yes,
Hot.
you get a shiny, spanking bright Mark Reed today. How you doing?
I see
you look
eyebrows, so do I.
gorgeous.
Except the eyebrows. Yeah, no, you don't touch that. Come on now. I was going
I
to.
don't know. Maybe you should shave the eyebrows and then
Maybe I
use
should,
like
maybe I should.
eyeliner.
Don't listen to him.
Guyliner, you mean? Guyliner.
Do that. It would piss me off.
I don't plan my fashion around what pisses you off, man. Maybe I should.
You
start
should.
doing
You
that.
should.
I should.
It makes
yeah,
me
no,
bitch a
right.
lot less.
Okay.
And nobody wants to hear me bitch ad nauseum while drinking wine for 2 hours straight.
I don't know. I'm kind of into it a little. Did I miss everything? I do apologize. I had
Surprisingly sober.
Yeah.
Well, we just listened to Matt Powell complain about abortion and how
it's
we
like
are all
9/11.
just commie leftists for wanting women to have control over their own bodies and making medical decisions alone without a man, with their own doctor. God forbid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean,
but
the church should get a say, of course. Yeah.
You're missing the important part. We determined that Beamsy's stunning, and bald people are hot.
Bald people are hot.
Okay.
You're saying that like it's not true. Oh,
no,
and
I'm just
Ember,
listing it off.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And Ember has a hot new dress, or is that new?
I've seen
Well,
it.
it was in yesterday's pre-recorded video. Yeah.
Tell Ember how hot she looks in her dress.
Ember, you're hot in that dress. You're
Just
rocking
wear-
that dress.
That was my sizzle. Did you hear it? I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
it.
Oh, we all know that Ember puts the pH into fat.
And I'm gonna sprinkle my salt, spicy, hot mama.
Sorry, just on the topic of that Hovind outfit.
Yes.
Like, it's weird how well it kind of suits you. Like, I think you look good in the vacation shirt.
Really? I'm not convinced of that.
It's a fact of bad fashion, but still fashion, that everyone looks better in a Hawaiian shirt. That's probably why even Kent wears one, because it makes him look better than he otherwise would.
Look,
Because
I mean,
they're exciting, so they distract from the face.
You
I don't
can
know if I
put
can
lipstick on a
co-sign.
pig, like seriously. That's not something, that's Kent Hoban's never going to look better. I often try to avoid everybody's streams and stuff, but I've kind of given up lately. Everybody's just doing things whenever and stuff. So I do.
I always stream on Sundays at 9:30
I know.
p.m. EST.
Oh no, Mark, you
Yes.
have too many friends.
So if any of you other fuckers are thinking about streaming, do not let it be after
Yeah, so I've
9:30
decided to do a
p.m.
new
EST.
stream. It's going to be
Sunday.
called Make Maya Rage. Is going to be my next stream, and it's going to be on Sunday at 9:30. And
Oh my god, I saw you stream yesterday with Stephanie.
well, I mean, I wanted Steph to be able to articulate what she wanted to. I think she felt unheard, and I don't want people to be unheard. Not at least when I've got something to say about it. A lot of people were expecting me to attack her, and that I made it clear I was not
Have I
out
met
to
you?
attack her. I was not out to attack anybody.
No, I've never seen you do that.
Do what?
Attack anyone. Like even when you it's clear you're disagreeing with someone, it never comes through as an attack. It's always just like a professional
have.
critique.
I've certainly lost my temper. I certainly have. There's been some arrogant people I certainly have attacked for being absolutely childish and arrogant. So yeah, I don't know. I can. It's just I try not to.
No, you're a perfect gentleman. Nicer than
Lies.
I've been to her when
Lies.
she. No, I could show you sometimes when she's done the same to me, and I wasn't rude, but I didn't let it go.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I shouldn't let it go.
All right, so it depends on what your goal is. I thought it was a bit excessive, is why I'm bringing it up.
What was
It's
it
a trans.
excessive?
You're not trans, and it was a trans conversation. So,
Yes.
the trans person should have had most of the speaking, sure. But
Yeah.
and it's one thing when you were talking and she wasn't done talking. But there were some times when she was definitely done talking, and then you decided to talk, and then she was like, "Oh, well, I've decided to talk more." And I'm like,
Yeah, but that's what Steph does.
Yeah, it's a Stephanie thing.
"Yeah, but okay, it's Mark's house, right?" I mean, okay, I've overtalked Dok Deino a couple of times tonight. I try to wrap it up very quickly. I apologize. And then I'm like, okay, everybody else shut the fuck up because I was rude. Doc, please speak. And I just feel like there's no, I don't know. I feel like you need to be considerate of people when you're in their house. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Maybe it's
but I
just a
was
me thing.
interviewing her. Like I was interviewing her, so it's really it's a different dynamic if you've come to an open room and whether you're coming to be interviewed. I think that's a different dynamic. I think it's a very different dynamic. So yeah, maybe I don't know. Sure, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't really mind.
For me, it seemed more like a conversation, and even if it's an interview, I personally feel like a conversation has been a back and forth, and I'm not Steph bashing. I've said this to her face. It was a good stream. I thought it was productive. I don't know. I don't know. I heard that there's some things going on in the background. I'm not asking you to confirm or deny that. It seems like you guys left on a good foot, and that's really all I want for the whole of the community is we're going to have a difference of opinion, and that's great.
Sure.
When you have a difference of opinion, that's a mark that you're thinking for yourself, and I think that's healthy. And I would prefer it if people, rather than I've seen a lot of childishness going on, and I'm not like bashing anybody in particular, but I prefer it when people hash it out. Like, okay, I'm here, you're here, let's talk.
Yeah, totally. I really think that's a good idea.
But again, it's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree.
Yeah, I've been yelling at people about that too. I'm like, you need to stop talking about people and talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I was there for the whole stream and watched it. I thought it was very productive, and I thought you guys partied on good terms. And I know that's important to her, been important to her lately. I know she's feeling very backed into a corner, and it is very hopeful. And I can't even just say her, but like I feel her pain with the community because there are a lot of people who are saying they're allies, but it's like they're saying it, but not walking the walk. And it comes
hard.
off kind of two-faced.
It's hard because I would really like to do more, but sort of my area in it is like debate and stuff, and I wouldn't feel comfortable debating on trans issues because I'm not.
Well, get comfortable with it. Get comfortable with it.
You think? Because
yes.
I mean, I would really want, I would not like to misrepresent the community kind of thing.
That's right? Fine. It's fine. And I'm not saying like you should misrepresent. And Bree, feel free to jump in here. But the thing is, and I'm saying this as a Black person, and I can't speak on behalf of the Black community, but on behalf of the Black community, we need white allies. We need white male allies because white men who are bigots respect you way more than they're ever going to respect me.
No, that's true.
They're not going to understand their target. Like, I'm not a human being. I'm whatever this demon is they've constructed in their mind. I need somebody to bridge that gap and say, no, she's cool. Listen to her. And that's something that only you can provide because they already respect you. So all marginalized groups need people who look exactly like you. So you, Mark Reed, we need you to get on, just not saying more than you feel comfortable saying, but we need you to speak up and take on the conversation when you're hearing someone, to shut it down or say, no, you're wrong. And, here are some people that I trust. I think you can trust. You should have this conversation because you're straw manning the position.
Oh, well, I do that. I just, I'm more talking about like going into an actual debate kind of thing. Right?
Oh, yeah, like on MDD, never. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't mean
anyone do that. But if it's even on your channel, I mean, I'm with you there too because I try not to have trans debates like on my show without having another trans person there.
It's just like having.
I have to do it
an abortion
routinely in my regular life.
You know what I mean? Like having an abortion debate. It's two guys arguing about abortion or having an abortion debate. It just looks really bad. It just is.
I agree.
Yeah. So I just think sort of, two cis white guys having a debate on trans issues is just, it's really bad.
I agree. Do you remember me calling you out on this like half a year ago?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. However, if it's you and a buddy in a barbershop, have the goddamn conversation.
Yeah.
But like, if you're going to go online, I'm not saying don't have the conversation. I'm saying, maybe bring a woman with you. But again, we need people to be comfortable having these conversations. And it's not even about doing it online or growing your channel, I'm talking about IRL mainly because that's where you're going to encounter the bulk of the misogyny and the homophobia and the racism.
Mm-hmm. I actually have an example from the guy I was stuck riding with. He was a little bit transphobe, and he didn't know I was a trans person. So he assumed I was a guy and just talked away and shit. And he'd say stuff like, what's up with these people who are confused? They don't know whether they're a boy or a girl. And, I'd say stuff like, that's not really the situation. I don't think you really understand, Like, you don't have to, I mean, I could have explained the whole thing to him, but honestly, he wasn't worth my time. But you don't have to, go through a whole thing. Just call them out on their bullshit. Be like, that's not really accurate.
Yeah,
and then send them to me.
Right.
It's very much an oversimplification of what the issue is with people. There's a small amount of people that are confused. That happens with everything, but there are more people who are quite literally born in the wrong body.
Well,
God doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, well, that's what they have to admit, that sort of God put the neurological system and brain type of one sex in another body, which is difficult for them to admit, to say the least. Like that isn't some mistake that God would make, right? But that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I refuse to call myself an ally because I prefer to actually let other people make a judgment on my own actions.
Same.
Makes sense.
And maybe as kind of the last word on this for now, just
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
no, it's fine. It's a good conversation to have, and it's related to the topic. But like Mark, from your prior debates that I've seen, I trust you to do your diligent research before talking or before speaking on a topic that you might not be an expert in.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
seen you do that with like a geology debate. Like you have a stream talking with me and Beamsy. I've seen you do that with other debates. Like you do research, so you're not just talking out of your ass.
Well, I do.
And
that
that's
too,
a really
but,
good
you know.
thing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
I
you don't
try.
talk out your ass, just you don't only.
Thank you. I try. But no, I get what you're saying, and I would certainly do my best. It's just I would rather, you know, someone like Ember stand up for the community, or somebody in the sort of, you know, that demographic be debating it, and I'd love to see that. And I think that all in all, we need more inclusivity in debates. The amount of debates where I've seen two cis white guys, you know, debating is just too much. We need other people in the debate sphere, and I sort of say that a lot because it all seems to be cis white guys.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm not saying start a stream where it's just you and another white guy talking about, oh, what are the crumbs that we should leave for the little marginalized people. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying as things pop up, we need people to be aware and to push back. And again, it doesn't have to be a whole stream, but just be aware enough on the issues to be able to call people out on the bullshit. We talk so much about, like, you know, the patriarchy, and like I think I know a lot of white men feel like they're being bashed, but it really is just the rest of us recognizing your power, and you have the power. And again, that means more to Americans probably than Aussies, but you saying to another man, another white man, no, really, this is important, holds weight. And I need you to realize that.
Yeah, you probably didn't see the stream where I went into Praise's room to tell him how disappointed I was with his attitude on trans people.
And,
no,
I mean,
if it was on Praise's channel, I wouldn't
like,
have lent him the view. But thank you for that.
I can say that I've seen Praise be pretty. I actually stopped interacting with him. I was gonna, you know, engage and try to have a series of educational conversations with him, just kind of see where we stand. But he's just too volatile towards trans people for me to even tolerate. Yeah.
And I haven't really been back to his channel after that, because I just said, like, you really disappoint me by holding these really egregious views on trans people. You claim to be a loving Christian, but here you are sort of vilifying an entire section of the community just because you think it's wrong to be like, it's just bad. It's really bad. But, you know, I do try to do that kind of stuff, and I just want to let you know that I do really try to push back on that stuff.
I mean, kind of related to like what you all were saying before, like, sure, Mark, it might be preferable to have a trans person there to defend themselves, but, you know, just as 5 is more than 4, 1 is more than 0.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and
true.
if you're the only one in a room standing up for another group, do what you got to do, I guess.
Well, actually, I was involved in like a one with Danny from Phil Talk, where we like took on a whole bunch of people who were absolute bigots, basically. And Danny was amazing. I got to say, he's really good.
He's good.
Danny does good in the trans topic.
Yeah.
He can argue both
absolutely.
sides of it, though. So it's like, but,
really, I didn't
Yes.
hear the other side. I only heard one side of it. So
Yeah.
because obviously
I've only
everybody
heard him
else-
do it as the steel man, but he knows the.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's a philosophy major and debate nerd, so he knows that you really can't argue something unless you can steel man your opponent. So anything he argues, know that he's probably already steel manned. He can steel man that both sides.
Okay. Well, I don't want this to be about me. So, like, let's wrap up the topic and go on to better things. Like, obviously, Matt Powell is much more joyful than this. I'm sorry that I couldn't even make it through that sentence.
Again, it's Matt Powell, so we're not off topic. But yeah, you're right. We've derailed.
Speaking of bigots,
there's a segue. Yeah, speaking of disgusting,
already used that segue, but yeah.
Why do these people exist?
Money.
Yeah,
that's a good answer. Good answer.
Yeah. Accurate.
Well, the thing is, but they're so angry about it, right? Like, I really feel like Matt Powell probably tried on a dress and felt good, and so that's why he's so angry at the trans. Like, it seems like that sort of transphobia comes from a sort of because you don't get that angry about things that don't matter that much. I don't know why he's so mad about it.
If there's so many different genders, shouldn't there be non-binary, male, female, cat, dog, right? Because people are saying you identify as whatever you want, right?
I hate
It's
him so much.
unbelievable.
Do we even need to address that?
Why is Keffels trending again?
I'm sure she said something at all.
The reason there's not more than two genders is because science has shown us that there's only male and female bones, okay? There's only
incorrect, sir.
Yeah,
Male and female bones.
Male and
They're
female
completely
bones.
different. See, the male bones are made of snakes and snails and puppy dog tails, while the female bones are made of sugar and spice and everything
All
nice.
things nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I learned that in biology class.
They're
My
completely
bones are
different,
made
though.
from goddess material. I don't know about you,
Yeah.
fuckers.
Ambrosia
I have an
or something.
exoskeleton, so I don't count.
But there are trends like it's a like every trait for the human skeletal system is a bimodal, meaning you have two peaks usually. Sometimes you can have 3 or 4. It's weird. Usually 2 peaks, but there's a whole spectrum in between and farther away. Humans are oddly variable for how genetically bottlenecked.
This part is just really confusing to me because he's really conflating sex and gender. He's saying gender, I guess, because sex is a naughty word, but he's using it to talk about both sex and gender. I don't know. It's annoying.
He's the personification of annoying.
Yeah.
On the subject of bones, my bones are mostly iron. I discovered. I tried to give blood once, and they take your blood and put a dropper into some fluid, and it's supposed to float about midway. Mine went right to the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah, I have hemochromatosis, which if I don't, it's heavy iron in the blood. If I don't bleed regularly, it builds up in my organs and bones and shit.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the few disorders where the recommended treatment is still actually leeches. I don't have pet leeches, though.
No. Yeah. Please don't do that.
No.
No, I'm the opposite, where I'm like borderline anemic all the fucking time.
I know my arm bones angle away from my body at a weird angle that's like very, very female kind of angle.
Like I've actually seen
Mark's telling
X-rays
us
of
about-
my bones.
Yeah.
My bones are weirdly thick. Like most of my long bones are weirdly thick compared to
Aren't
most.
they hollow too?
Yeah, maybe they're just extra hollow. But I've never broken one.
I've
Well,
never broken a bone either.
But
I have an exoskeleton, so that's something completely different.
You have an exoskeleton?
Actually, they're
I
now
love that one.
making exoskeletons for
Well, you went through
people.
a period
They're actually
of
pretty
operating
cool if you've ever seen one. Anyone seen an exoskeleton they're making now? They're like power armor kind of thing. That's
I've
really
seen the
cool.
Like Iron Man?
exosuits.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they're
Wait,
working
like
on
the Iron Man?
Kinda.
Kind of.
They're working on the new generation of lithium sulfur batteries that are supposed to contain something like 400% more power in the same size battery. Yeah, you'll basically be able to walk around in a forklift if you want to. I mean,
Yeah,
and you
basically.
can afford it.
And there's that.
But let's see. At any rate, what I have on screen right here. So these are measurements of male and female femurs. So as an example, right here's the length. So the average for female left and right femurs is about 41 centimeters. The average for male is about 43 centimeters. But there's enough overlap to encompass all the other measurements.
Wow. I am
And that's
shocked.
true for every other measurement. Well, it's just like I have both seen and made charts like this for most other bones in the human body and other animal bodies. Like
Yeah, most other animals will be.
This
There's-
shows how stupid their
extreme
argument
overlap.
is.
What?
Yeah.
And I was talking to she goes by Sciencey Melody on Instagram, but she's a forensic scientist, and she was talking about how groups of people that there'll be like more similarity between the males and females of one people group than there are from another haplogroup or another side of the world. The individuals match the others of their own origins, regardless of the sex, more than they do regional, which is an interesting perspective to have.
I heard a thing the other day. It wasn't the main topic of the podcast, so I'm drawing a blank on which podcast it was. It was actually about how a forensics conference got canceled because all the speakers were huge transphobes, and they were like, nope, we're not with those guys, no. But they had a forensic anthropologist on explaining that you don't identify the sex of bones. You estimate the sex of bones based on a whole suite of characteristics that are all spectral distributions.
yeah, I have personally examined several skeletons in different labs. The most common thing you do is you have a list of traits that are usually semi-diagnostic in humans, and you just chart an average, and like it will be on average more male or more female, and in a decent number of cases, it's just flat out wrong. Anyway, all this to say, Matt, you're wrong. Go away. You're stupid.
There's only male and female chromosomes. This is what science has shown us. We're talking about biology.
Also,
What?
He can't go a full sentence without being wrong, can he?
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, Kleinfelters.
Let's see. We have XX, XY, XXY, X. Is XYY a thing?
I've heard of it,
I
but I don't
mean-
think it's viable.
Yeah, every combination is possible. It's a matter of whether it's viable or not. But then we've also got SRY translocations and what the fuck is the other one? I can't think of it right now. Forrest rattled it
apparently
off once.
XYY
But
is a thing. But yeah, you can have that. There can be intermediates. Just going with hormones, you can have all kinds of mutations or just variations. You can have someone who is genetically male, born with androgen insensitivity syndrome,
Mhm.
and they will form as a female. Like they will have breasts and all their female characteristics, even though they have XY chromosomes.
Yeah,
I could have,
And it's more common
I
than
could
you
have
think.
XXY and still be able to produce offspring.
I found a singer on YouTube that she's in Melbourne called Bloom, and she's sort of like she does a short that said, "Hey, I have testicles in my stomach," and it's like, oh, that is so cool.
Human sex is bimodal, and the curve is gentle.
Yeah, and that's okay. Don't be scared by that. That's fine.
I mean, that's true for most organisms.
See, we're talking about genetics. We're talking about scientific fact, scientific law. We only have male and female eyes. There's no such thing as a non.
scientific law.
What?
How
Scientific
are eyes male
law.
and female?
He's going to talk. Well, so there's
Wait,
a
so what did
trend
he say? Scientific what?
hold on. There's a trend in humans where men on their genes are more likely to be colorblind. Like 3/4 of the more likely to be colorblind than women are.
Yeah,
So
but that's
Yeah,
with the genes, not
That's
the
tied to the
eyes.
X chromosome, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
most
just a
defects-
happenstance that it's connected to that. It's not like that just proves how arbitrary some of this stuff is and not intelligently designed. Because but it means that so a man is more likely to be colorblind, therefore biblical gender roles because women are supposed to be the gatherers while men are the hunters.
Is
They
it
also-
estrogen insensitivity? Yes. Okay. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead,
the-
Beansy.
The aspect is also that the Y also mutates far faster than any other chromosome. It's also far smaller than any other chromosome,
it's the Gary Habermas of chromosomes because it has minimal facts.
pretty much.
So, fun fact, in birds, it is the males who have both same sex chromosomes and the females who have one different.
Interesting. We're looking into one species of animal that had a W.
And just so you know, Doc actually just took a sample of his own blood to find that out.
Bird sex bird sex chromosomes, male is ZZ, female is ZW.
Oh, okay. Well, it was birds. There you go.
Biology
Nice.
is neat.
And weird.
yeah.
I wouldn't say
Non-binary.
that. It's kind of messy, to be honest with you.
Oh yes, chemistry
Drop out
is a
to the
sloppy bitch.
chat, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye,
Okay,
Breeze.
bye.
Breezy.
Have a good one, Bree. And then there were 5.
Binary chromosome, it doesn't exist. They put their faith in a false religion. They need to have their eyes open to the truth. There's only male and
Yes.
female muscles.
Can he
The
not
false
do a full
religion of
sentence?
biology.
Can we at least
Also,
get
did-
one full sentence? Just one.
sorry. That's my. That
Sorry,
one's my
very
fault.
debatable,
Totally my
but
fault.
does he have to preach while doing the potty dance?
I wasn't blaming you, Mark. I'm blaming Matt entirely for this. Can he
Oh,
not
yeah, that's
go
true.
one full
Yeah.
sentence without spouting
That's-
some bullshit?
Something outrageously wrong.
Well, I mean,
don't
everything
think-
about this guy is fucking half-assed incarnate, right?
Mhm.
His suit doesn't fucking fit. What is that haircut? And there's a poof sticking out to the side. There's days I don't feel like I look very great. But I mean, if I'm gonna give a presentation in front of the whole fucking congregation, I'm at least gonna make sure my hair is cut straight. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
Mine is
honestly, he
always
looks like a
cut straight.
woodpecker.
He looks like he got attacked by a woodpecker.
I'm
why is
actually
his
more
cheeks
thinking along the
always so
lines.
rosy? Is he like constantly drunk, or is? Oh,
I'm more
okay.
thinking about the thing. He wasn't attacked by a woodpecker, just more attacked by a pecker.
You say, well, why does
Oh,
this
wait,
debate matter? Who cares
A
what they do?
Jedi
in their-
wants to know if Matt manscapes.
I do not want to know.
Uh,
Oh
you know,
boy.
I bet he just never grew anything to manscape.
Probably true.
I'll say shots
Their own
fired. but
privacy.
Okay, plot twist. How about this plot twist? Matt turns out to be born a female and is really trans and is self-hating.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be insane, right?
Maybe that's why we can't find him in the financial database because his banking is all under his dead name.
What financial database?
Oh, yeah.
Earlier, we
Oh.
went on a small quest to try to find out his net worth.
You know, that said, he would not be he would not be the first self-hating trans person to
At all.
talk about it publicly.
Ooh, yeah. Although the ones that I know about are open about the fact that they are trans. There's
Sure.
that one person that argued with Nominal Naomi a few months ago. There's
Caitlyn
what is
Jenner,
it, Blair White?
Blair White.
Yeah.
Is Blair White really self-hating trans?
Yes.
I'll take your word for it. I don't really understand that.
There's so many things I don't understand, but yes.
It's not private. It's in public. They're trying to infiltrate women's sports. That affects everyone. They're trying to get into women's.
Since when
Fuck
do you
you,
care
Matt.
about women's sports?
Name one female athlete, Matt. Just one.
Right?
Like,
Okay, so I'm gonna
they only care
channel.
about women's sports when they can oppress trans people. That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's the same thing with everything with Matt. Like he only cares about babies when he needs it to oppress women. You know, he only cares about anything when he needs to use it as a tool. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I'm gonna channel Stephanie Helms here and point out that Matt likes to, and others like him, like to make the case that trans people are transitioning just to playing women's sports because women are so easy to beat and yada, yada, yada. The whole reason there are women's sports at all, the reason there's gender segregation at all, is because there didn't used to be. It used to be just a sport. And then there'd be an Olympics or something, and a woman would beat a man. And we can't have that. So the very next year, there'd be a women's division. And it's like that for every fucking sport. The only reason there's a women's division for most sports is because the men can't stand being beaten by women.
And did you see that video? It's a movie that's supposed to be coming out about these guys. It's a right-wing video about these guys going into women's sports and just like...
A Ben Shapiro production.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
So apparently that was supposed to be a documentary until they found out how hard it was to actually get a man into women's sports. And none of them wanted to transition for the point of a documentary. So they just made this like spoof movie that can't happen, despite the fact that they tried to make it. And oh God, it's assholes.
It's basically Strawman the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Because
there
couldn't
are
prove their
ads
point.
for it.
Yeah, they couldn't prove their point. So they just made something up.
Yeah,
like they always do.
The actual ad for it has Shapiro saying, "We designed it to be the most triggering movie ever." I thought about reviewing it, but then I'm like, I remembered what Stephanie said about giving assholes oxygen, and I'm like, fuck them.
Not that
Treat them
movie,
like fire.
Well, if you ever want to just ruin an evening, there's a channel called Behind the Bastards that talks about interesting people in history, and they read through one of Ben Shapiro's books.
Okay.
It is one of the worst pieces of fiction I have ever heard.
I didn't know the man could write.
Most
He
writers, I'm
can't,
sure.
but he published it anyway.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it is. It's the kind of book I would only read while high off my ass, and I can currently not get high. So
3 minutes
something
in,
nice and
we're
sweet
making
after a
great
bitter
time.
shot.
It's the fact that he can't go 20
usual.
seconds without bullshit.
no, well, it's also the amount of people. Like, as Ember and Ember's noted this first, definitely, that it really depends on the amount of people you've got in the stream. The more people, the longer it takes to do anything. And that's just the reality of the situation.
Well, here, let's see if we can make it 10 seconds.
Women's prisons. They identify as a woman. Look, you're going to trust some criminal that did some crime. You're going to trust them to tell you the truth about gender? Think about this.
That's not how it works.
Did Hovind immediately come to mind for anybody? Did Hovind, asking for a friend.
This. They want to go into women's locker rooms, women's bathrooms. You talk about bigotry? That's
For crying out loud, Matt.
He asked for 10 seconds. Just please.
Okay, do we want to say something really quick about the bathroom thing, or do we want to just move on because we all know it's bullshit?
They say you're bigoted. No,
Sorry, I don't think you can go 10 seconds without making a bigoted statement. I don't think that's fair. What is his definition of bigotry?
His mouth smoothing.
I would be a bigot if I accepted people for what they're not, if I lied to people. We shouldn't lie to people. Don't buy into this game of literal charades. Look, if a guy puts on high heels and a skirt, it doesn't mean he's a woman.
How do you know
it
he's
means
a
he's
guy?
masquerading as a woman.
How do you know he's a guy? Most people think they've never met a trans person, and they actually have.
Yeah.
I can't say most people, but like fuck ton of them.
No, you're probably right. I've met a lot of trans people that I did not clock. They only told me after they knew who I was. You know, I was like, oh, I didn't even realize. You know.
And if he created us in his image, that means God would look great in a dress. Isn't that right, Ember?
I mean, I can't speak for God, but I mean, I feel good.
Yeah.
Can Gabriel rock a dress?
Okay, so the way Gabriel happened was on Amy Newman's show. Amy was kind of fed up with theists, but didn't really want to talk to atheists either. But the show wasn't done and said, now, if only a beautiful femboy would come on. And so I had Midjourney real quick make I actually typed in as the prompt femboy Jesus. And Gabriel's the face.
Oh, it's not.
I have a button to switch over. It only switched over the voice though. It's not doing the picture. But yeah, so yeah, I'd have to go back to that picture and have Midjourney zoom out to see what Gabriel's wearing.
Guys, I think I said I would give you 2 hours. I gave you 5.
Because you are
wow.
a generous
Yeah.
god. You are a generous
Um,
god.
I am.
How about
yes.
2 times speed and we'll just blitz this?
I don't
I
know,
don't think
like
that's going to
because
happen. I have doubts.
he makes so many, like it's like every other word is bad. But I'll listen to the chat as I'm getting ready for bed. Got to go to bed. All right, so I'll see you later.
Well,
Thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
joining us. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right, yeah, let's kill this thing.